Hey everybody, I'm Philip, and today I'm going to do a little review of It, Welcome to Derry, episode 1. I just finished it, and yeah. Before we continue, there's a spoiler warning from here on. I just finished it. As I've said a few times in different videos, this series used to be called We Just Watched or I Just Watched, whether it was reaction, review, or reviews in the case of just this. I'm glad I didn't do a reaction of it because there wouldn't have been much here. Let's start with the bad. Let's start with the bad. Let's just do the bad. Yeah, the bad. So to cover the things I did not like, first I have to preface this by saying it took me 3 times to get through this, like 3 sittings to get through it. I started it and then stopped, started it, then stopped, and then just finished it. That's rare that yeah. The first negative I'll say is that it was, other than a couple of scenes, it was really, really, really boring. I One of the times I stopped was because I was bored. The other time was because something just was so stupid, and I'll get to that in a sec. I'm sure if you watched it, you know what I'm talking about. So it was just boring. It was just, and I'm usually pretty forgiving with pilot episodes because you're world building, you're introducing a world. Although we are pretty familiar with Derry and the lore and stuff, but I didn't think it hit the mark in some ways. We gotta get the elephant in the room out of the way. The demon bat baby was just bad. I would not have went for that design personally. And to piggyback on that, also in the bad is the CGI was awful. Was awful. Uh, I I know Andy Muschietti. I think that's how you say his name. I like him as a director. I do. I forgive a lot of the things people don't like about him. He makes decent Stephen King adaptations, and I know some people get on him about some stuff, but I'm old, and I remember when the Stephen King adaptations were horrid, just awful. Like, and getting a good Stephen King adaptation was like closing your eyes and throwing a dart at the dartboard, and maybe you get a bullseye. Most of the time, you're not even gonna hit the board. So I come from an era where, when his work was being, adapted, hopes weren't high, and I'm glad that in recent times, there's been a bit more of respect put on Stephen King's name as far as adapting his work and having his input, and treating the source material with respect and the author with respect. I'm not saying that if he's involved, it's going to mean it's great, but at least involve the person who had the vision in the first place, that kind of thing. But, this is just based on works by Stephen King. So it's not like a direct adaptation per se. A lot of the criticisms people have had about Muschietti's other work, like the bad CGI and sometimes elongated storytelling, were very much in effect here for sure. Yeah, the demon bat baby thing was not how I would have started. It's not how I would have bookended the episode for sure, but also it's not how I wouldn't have brought it back at the end. We'll get to that. The other elephant in the room, the second time that I stopped watching when I took my second break and did my second viewing, was the scene on the military base when the guys broke in. Also, the military stuff is a slog to get through. It drags the episode down. I don't care. I'm trying to think of what payoff this could have that would make what I'm assuming is going to be a season-long arc worth it. What's in the secret hangar? Is it going to be a UFO? Are we going there? Are we... I don't know. I don't think I need to see that. But I just don't care. I don't care about anything that's going on the Air Force Base side of things at all. Every time it would pop up, I would just be like, granted, I didn't want to see like an hour of kids getting bullied in school, because if you watch my other work, I don't like kids getting bullied. I don't like that just because it hits home for me. But yeah, I hope it goes somewhere. I hope it goes somewhere. What else didn't I like? Some of the acting was dodgy. I thought, not everybody, but some of it was a little hit or miss there. Okay, let's talk about the good things, the positives that this episode had. The last scene in the theater was fantastic. Stupid demon bat baby and dodgy CGI aside, they did a really good job of building that up. It called back to the a projector scene in It, the movie. I thought they did a good job of that. I liked the beginning up until the Demon Bat Baby reveal. See, the Demon Bat Baby is just the common thread of something I didn't like. But I liked where we were going. Something else I liked was we didn't need to see Pennywise. If you've read the books, you know that the entity of It is a shapeshifter. It takes on like any form at once, and it preys on the fears of the people it is attacking and targeting. So I like that we're not seeing the clown, because we don't really need to. Let the entity take form and take a shape that's different. I don't think Pennywise is necessary for this. So I appreciated that there was no reliance on that yet. I don't know what's going to happen. But the last scene was good. It was good. It was shocking because we're thinking we're meeting this new losers club, and they all but two get brutally killed. And they're also kids. So not only did the kids get killed, but they got just annihilated. It was graphic. It was a lot more graphic than I expected. And considering that it was children involved, I was not expecting that level of in your face. It was CGI, but I wasn't expecting it to be that visceral. So that was good. That was good. I liked that. It's not really a bad thing, but I am kind of bummed out then that some of the characters died. They pretty much Drew Barrymore from Scream Dust a bit with how that happened, because we thought we were getting to know the new Losers Club. And I was actually starting to kind of like the characters. I thought they had a decent foundation to build off of, but then we spend half the episode building these characters up, and then all but two die. And the one I like the most is dead. And so that sucks. And also didn't expect the little sister to die, because usually the younger you are, the more safe you are in horror. So that's a good way to show that they're like the kid gloves, pun intended, are off. But I don't know. I think if I didn't like one character in particular so much and the ensemble where we were going as a whole, even with some of the dodgy acting, I did like we were building a rapport with these characters, and that's just been thrown away. Like, I'm highly doubting it's going to be like, and it was all a dream, or anything like that. If it is, okay. But I have episode 2 to watch, but I don't know. Yeah, I wasn't wowed, and I'm definitely not looking forward to episode 2. I'll watch it, but I'm not looking forward to it. I don't care about the fallout from the military stuff at all. I have negative interest in that. I don't know. Like I said, it's okay they subverted the expectations of this is your core group of people, but them killing them off kind of like, man. Like I said, unless they come back in episode 2 and it was all a dream or something, then we'll go from there. But as of right now, with what I've seen, I don't know. If you saw it, welcome to Derry. Episode 1. What did you think? Am I being too harsh on it? Because I went into it spoiler free. Like, I didn't watch any trailers. I didn't know it existed until yesterday. So I made plans to watch it tonight. And it's been on for almost 3 weeks. I have the 2 episodes to catch up on. So yeah, I had no knowledge of what this was supposed to be, other than what the title told you, and having read the book and seen the movies and the miniseries and all that stuff. And granted, I read the book when I was a kid, so it's like I've kept a minimal amount in my brain. It's kind of like The Stand. I read The Stand when I was like 10. Like, I remember parts of it. I remember loving it, but my brain has retained such a minimal amount. And the parts I do remember from it, I am super glad did not make it into the movies or the miniseries, because holy crap, you know what I'm talking about. All right, but if you saw it, what did you think? And yeah, I'm going to go on to episode 2 here in a bit. Usually with pilots, they need to kind of just like knock it out of the park, because you want to be amped and excited to watch the next one. And maybe some people are. Maybe you are. But I'm not. So I can't say I'm being too harsh of a critic because it's not like the book or not like the movies, because I'm not expecting it to be. There are the aspects I did like I said. But yeah, overall, this just like I said it earlier, but if there was one word to describe this episode, it was just a slog, an absolute slog to get through. And that's not what you want for a pilot episode. So we'll see what happens in part 2. Maybe I'll come around to it, or maybe it will make me unhappy even more. That's going to wrap this one up. As always, I don't have a fancy outro, so I'll simply say thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.